welcome back to Christy's Beautiful Life. And we are doing 30 days of sketches, and today is day 7. Today's beautiful sketch is by the lovely and talented Valerie Spencer, and you can see I made this a 2-page layout, and it's great for any kind of scraps. You could use, I used 3x4, but you could use 3x3s on this. You could use a different size picture, so it's super versatile, and I am loving that. So let's go ahead and I will show you what I've done so far. So I do try to pick up on what makes this unique, and I happen to have a cute little puzzle stamp that I'll show you in a little bit, and so I ran with that. So I used some scraps that I had. These are from Perfect Match, close to my heart's Perfect Match. And can I find my, yes, I can find my adhesive, yay. So I did not get my paper just because there's a lot of layers on this one, and I didn't want to do that. So here I go. I did kind of put it down a little bit because I needed to see where things were going to go. I am sharing this Cricut Design Space file in the description below. So if you like this for a title, go ahead and just click on that. It should take you right to it, and you'll be able to cut it. And once again, I am not the talented person that makes these titles. So what I did first was I took a 12x12 black cardstock, and you can see she did that. And then I took a piece of white paper, and this white paper I cut from, it is, and you'll notice that I'm putting it away this way. If you don't want, I like my papers to touch in the middle. If you don't want that look, just cut your paper a 1/2 inch less on this side, and you'll be good. So I cut mine because I do like them to touch. I cut mine at 0, I cut this one at 11 1/4 wide, and lengthwise it is 11, I believe. Yes, it is, I'm sorry, it is 11 1/4. So 11 1/4 is what I have for that. So I'm going to go put his, I'm setting this down. You can see that hers is layered a lot. I have very busy pictures, and I have busy paper, and so a lot of the detail does not show up, and that's I guess a downfall of busy paper. And here we go. So I'm setting it right here. It's 1 inch from the, 1/2 inch from the bottom, 1/2 inch from the top, and I'm going to go ahead and place this right here. I did do the faux stitching line. You can see it's kind of crooked. I did try to do it with a ruler, and to be quite honest, when I try to do the ruler, I think it makes it more crooked. So probably next time I will just jet it. If I had been, I used to always sew, and my sewing machine was always up, and so I did a lot of stitching on my papers, but that is no longer the case. I don't sew. I basically just do paper crafting. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set that down. So that gives me a half an inch from the bottom, 1/2 inch from the top, 1/2 inch from the side. Okay, so my next layer is Candy Apple. That is the color that goes with this particular paper, and you could have any, basically any kind of valentine paper. Let's see what I cut this one at. So width-wise, it is 10 3/4 wide, and it is 10 1/2 high. And I did, okay, and so I'm going to just place this right down here. And then the strips can be any scraps that you have, and it's really fun to find a layout that does this. And we can use up our scraps because we all have them. So I'm just going to put this down. It is 1 1/4 from the top, and it is 1 1/4 from the bottom. And then I'm going to move these, and I'll show you how I've done these. I'm going to move everything. So my strips are And so they're not all the same width, because if I make them 2 inches, so because my paper is only 10 and 3/4, if I had 5 strips, I wouldn't have any blank between. So what I did was, I'm going to get out my ruler here. I think I'm having one over here on the side. Got my handy dandy ruler, because I do not, and I always put all of them down first. You can see I tried the faux stitching. I wanted to have like faux stitching like she had, and if I, like I said, if I had sewing machine, I would just sew it, and if I sewed it, I would have had it curl up a little bit, because I like that look, but it is what it is. So if I'm eyeballing it, you know what, I did a really good job of eyeballing it, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and put it, but you can measure like a 1/4 inch between all of them. And like I said, this is all, so I cut these are two, let me look, sorry, they are 2 inches wide, and then a couple of them, this one is 1 3/4. So a couple I put 1 3/4, so I'd have a little space in between. They are 9 inches long, and I made the 9 inches. I took the last 3 inches of the paper, and I made tags. She doesn't have tags on hers, but I had the 3 inches. I had to do something with it, so that's what I did. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and that way it doesn't line up with my scrap thing. And it's kind of interesting. Some people say, well, I throw away all my pieces unless they're at least a 6 by 6. And I just have, got them at a garage sale, of course. I have a totally Tiffany one where she has the holders, and they can hold like 6 inches, and so I do my paper packs, some of them as they get dwindle down, I put them in there. And I don't have every subject in those. I just, they were the little spider things, and I found them, and I thought, well, I don't have enough for everything, but what I have, I will use. I tend to like, I tend to hang on to my stuff, unfortunately. That's a good thing and that's a bad thing, but it also saves me from making, I see some people like, oh, they get rid of all this and then it comes back, and it's like, if I love it, number one, if I have something similar, I don't replace things. I don't buy new things if I have something similar that I can use. I'm kind of thrifty that way. So this is a cute pattern all by itself. You could use a large picture with this. You could have this be any subject, and it's just a really fun, usable one. So let's talk about the pictures. So the pictures that I did, I put them on black, and I'm going to start in the middle. I put them in black, but I made myself a little pocket, which I like to do, and I put my tag. It's not very deep. I might go back through and just put, in fact, I probably will do that, note to self. The way you get this from not, because I'm just realizing that my tags are going to get lost. If you are worried about that, just take your foam tape and put them down here. And that way you're not going to lose your tags. Otherwise, you're going to lose your tags behind your pictures. And this is a great way, if you wanted to do bigger pictures, this layout could hold a lot of pictures. So I am starting, you can see, well, let's get to that later. So I'm going to start off in the middle, because that's a very good place to start. And this one right here, and I'm going to put it in, I'm starting at, the middle's going to be at 6, and let me get my handy dandy. And it's going to be in the middle. I like, because I have a little bit of a crooked eye, which means I have a hard time lining things up, I tend to like to put things off, a little off kilter. So I'm going to do this. So if you want to, if you're worried at all about, sometimes when you put down foam tape, it is kind of non-forgiving. If you're worried about that at all, you don't have to put all of the tape down. You could do it another way. So I'm going to put it right here. And that's going to be my little picture right there. Cover up my cute little people that are borrowed. And so see, this is the bottom end of this, and what's great about this is the back side of this is lined paper. So they can journal about what they were doing that day. And then I'm going to put these a little bit at an angle. And I'm going to put this at an angle. These little guys are so cute. They're fairly close in age together, and they're brothers, and they just love each other. They're just oh so sweet and oh so cute and oh so busy. So the dad of these guys is my nephew, and he was energetic when he was little, and he is the most patient, great dad, and I just laugh because I could never get him to eat when he was little because he just didn't slow down. And if you set him at the table, he'd fall asleep. So it's so fun to watch him with his little boys, and now all that energy he had, it comes in handy keeping up with these little guys. And that could be a tag right there. You could put extra pictures in there and all kinds of things. So I love this layout. So the next, I'm going to put this Love You to Pieces. And like I said, this was a Cricut. I have, oops, I forgot this one. I have Cricut Access. I don't even know how much I pay. It's like $21 a month. I use my Cricut every day. I use probably 5 to 10 titles every day. I never have to worry about fonts, and I don't get anything from Cricut. I'm not one of those people that get money for Cricut, so I think if you're a person that uses it all the time, I have no problem. Some people are saying, oh, they're charging me for keeping things. It's just, I just love Cricut. It allows me to be really creative, and I've actually done the coloring, and maybe I'll do a video on that. The coloring pages are so fun. So you can download a color page, and you can download the color page. This is for Cricut Access people, and it is easy. It just says coloring page. You literally go there. They ask you what type it is. It comes up with the coloring pages, and it's so fun because you know, when kids are getting a little bit older, and my little grandson, who's 3, likes to color. Well, maybe he'll like to color, but I want to make a coloring page and see what he does, because it'll be like, whoa, wait, that coloring page is me. It's super cute. We'll do a video on that after I do that. Okay, so, and I might put flowers or something right there. I'm kind of not loving the fact that that's empty. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little on here. And then I want to show you this fun stamp. I've had it, oh, I don't know. It was with close to my heart. And I always do Valentine's Day. I always bought the papers because I do calendars. So this is their calendar, and I just go through all year long and get their pictures from Facebook like a creeper. And okay, so this one goes right here. So Love You to Pieces. And so I stamped, this was a pattern paper, and then this was the stamps that I used. It's so fun. And it's had lots of love. Some of its pieces, little tiny pieces, are missing it, but that's okay. And then I have this right here. I want to show you, okay, so I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to stamp it up a little bit, and I'm going to show you a piece, and this is something it's kind of amazing. My big thing is, although I do stamp, I'll stamp along with the best of you, but I am not a big stamp person. I am definitely a paper person. If I could only have one thing, it would be the paper, and it wouldn't be stamps, because I can do Cricut. But every now and then a stamp, I mean, this stamp was perfect for it. And let me show you how I made this stamp. So the stamp itself, when it came on this one, it says, and I so miss Close to My Heart's packaging. In fact, I've taken a lot of my Stampin' Up! Stuff and put the in Close to My Heart. And people say, I thought that was a Close to My Heart. I thought that was a Stampin' Up! Stuff. I was like, yeah, but they have, Close to My Heart had better packaging. So this is what it looked like. And it says, you're my missing piece. So what I did was, I didn't want it to say, you're my missing piece. So, and this is a trick that people that have stamped for a long time, you all know this. So you flip it over on the back side. And when you're stamping, I know a lot of people have, Stampin' Up! Has totally gone to acrylics. Hallelujah. Never been a fan of rubber stamps. So a lot of people have already known this. You flip it over on the back. I'm going to grab a white piece of paper. So when you are stamping with the acrylic stamps, it is different than stamping with rubber stamps. And a lot of people say, oh, the rubber stamps give so much clearer. It has to do with how people are stamping. It's just like if you're using oxide ink instead of regular ink, it's going to be different. You can't just judge it, oh, it's better or it's worse or it's this or it's that. It really is just a matter of, it's a different product. So of course you're going to have to do things a little bit differently. I am not fine. Here's my candy apple. So what I'm going to do is I flip that puppy over, and I'm going to, and this is how I made all these pieces, because I needed them. So I just am going to stamp it. You'll notice I put this fuzzy underneath. If you are using acrylic stamps, with rubber stamps, I feel like you needed a hard surface. With acrylics, you need a soft surface. So then I would just cut around this. And that would give me, so any of your, so you might have a shape that you like, but you want to put different words on it. That's how you do that. Okay. Or if you wanted to have add another layer, it's kind of like putting, this is the way that you're putting, it's kind of like you're stamping an offset. I guess that's the best way to look at it. And then I'm going to put this right here, and I am going to call this finished. Oops, I think I'm going to call this finished. And I might putz around. A lot of times when you come on, I will have some, oh, I do like it there. And I might put one, but I think I need one right there. So I'm going to cut this one out and add it there. I'm not going to make you watch. I might add a few flowers there. But this is my layout for the day, and I love how this one turned out. It was perfect for my paper. It was easy to use. I got to use scraps, and I got to use some things in my stash that I haven't been able to use. So if you want to play along with Christy's Beautiful Life, there is a playlist. Hopefully I will figure out how to put it. You can look below, and hopefully if I figure it out, I will put the playlist, and then you can just go through and see what other people have done with this. I'm so excited to see what other people have done with this, different themes that they've had for this particular layout. Oh, and I forgot, sorry, I forgot one more thing. So I created a second layout, because this is a 2-page layout. See how easy this one was to create a 2-page layout? So when you create a 2-page layout, this was my original sketch, and so this is what I call, you could call it stretching the sketch. You might call it just repeating. I've repeated exactly the same thing on this side as I have on this side. I added my fun little stamps from my stamp pad, my little puzzled heart. I have, and so when you're trying to increase and make your sketch larger, you want to repeat the elements that you have on this side. So of course I've repeated this. I still have the little tabs. I have the puzzle pieces, and so I think it made a great 2-page layout too. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you will like and subscribe to my channel, and tomorrow you'll see what I'm up to next. Thank you so much. Bye.